Matthew chapter 11, verses 12 says, "From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been forcefully advancing, and forceful men lay a hold of it." Yesterday we spoke about how Jesus comes to bring division in the world. He doesn't bring division because that's his mission. His mission is to bring peace, but as a result of those who submit themselves to him, and because the kingdom of Jesus is so different to the kingdom of the world, its values are different, its principles are different. In fact, we call it the upside down kingdom, where in the kingdom of God, the first are last and the last are first. So those who serve, those are the people who are great, but in the kingdom of the world, those who seek their own personal glory, those are the people really that are those who are considered as great. So we have a kingdom that is completely opposed to the kingdom of the world. And the world hates this kingdom because this kingdom tells the world that it is wrong. This is why when you look at all the apostles, most of them actually died by crucifixion, the same way that Christ died. In fact, we know that some of the apostles, like Peter, refused to be crucified the same way that Christ was crucified. And they even asked to be crucified upside down. But most of those disciples were hated by the world. They were hated by the rulers of their time. They were hated by the people that they lived with. And Jesus himself says in Matthew chapter 15, verses 18, that when the world hates you, know that the world hated me first. So it's very important that we understand that if we are not of the world only loves those that belong to it. But if we've been chosen by God, if we've been pulled out of the world, then we cannot expect the world to love us. We cannot expect the world to accept us. We cannot accept the world to love the message that we preach. But rather we know that those who love the message of Christ will hate the message of the world, will hate the world. But equally so, those who love the world will always hate the kingdom of God. And so when Matthew is telling us that the kingdom of God is advancing, it means that God advances his kingdom. And he says, in fact, Jesus says that the gates of Hades will not prevent it. So in other words, God will build his church and advance his kingdom, and nothing is going to stop or deter God's mission to advance his kingdom in the world. But it's important that we understand that God invites us as well to build his kingdom. And when we build his kingdom, we must know that his kingdom is a kingdom that advances violently. It's a kingdom that advances in the face of difficulty and persecution. The church has always advanced in the midst of persecution. When the persecution goes up, it's actually when the church seems to multiply and to grow and to flourish. That's why Tertullian says the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. In other words, the more the church is crushed and put down and persecuted, it's almost as if it is being planted and on the ground, and then it begins to multiply and to grow. And so this is how we should view our faith as well, is that there are many obstacles along the way. There are many challenges along the way. There are many things that prevent us or pull us away from advancing God's kingdom. But what God invites us to do is to begin to advance his kingdom in the face of opposition, in the face of resistance, in the face of the hate of the world. Because we have a mission that we've been given by God, we need to actually have the perseverance and the long suffering to pursue God's mission in the midst of all difficulties. You know, Black Friday is coming up pretty soon, and you'll notice during Black Friday that before the doors are opened, a lot of people are queued, they're outside, they're waiting to come in. But as soon as those doors are open, man, people will not be deterred by anything in order for them to go inside and to begin to buy and to get all the things that they wanted to buy. So the kingdom of God is like that, is that when God opens his kingdom and begins to invite us into his kingdom, we need to pursue his kingdom, even though we have so many things that are preventing us from entering into his kingdom. But we should enter into his kingdom, even denying ourselves, denying our own desires to pull away from God. But when we enter into his kingdom, we need to begin to pursue the things of the kingdom and leave behind the things of the world. Once we enter that gate of the kingdom, then we need to begin to advance the things that are in the kingdom. And we need to advance those things not in a passive way, but advance those things in an aggressive way, in a violent way. And when we say violent way, is to say that we are going to pursue God's mission, even though there are things maybe that cause us or pull us away, that resist us, or people that hate us, or anything in the world that wants to prevent us from advancing God's mission. We are saying we are going to pursue God's mission no matter what and at whatever cost.